Hi everybody, and thanks for joining me today. So, getting closer to completing this pass. I have just under 800 stitches to go, so yeah, I won't be managing it today, but probably by the time I start my next session, we will be starting the next pass, which will be pass number 6, I believe. Yeah, this is number 5. So yeah, looking at the pattern, I sort of have colors that go in different directions because of the shape of the petals. So I will be, of course, following those as usual. All right. Yeah, so again, it's been above freezing, so we're having, looks kind of weird because there's snow on the ground, but none on the trees. Yeah, it sort of melts off of those first, so yeah, but they are calling for 6 inches of snow tomorrow night, so yeah, that'll change that again. Okay, I have another strand. Good, because this one is, yeah, too short to do anymore. So, all right. So yeah, I'm hoping my automatic captions show up this time when I go to edit this video. My last one, I don't know, I must have spoken too quietly for a good portion of it because, yeah, those captions would not show up, and I finally had to do them manually, which takes me like 3 to 4 hours. So, yeah, it was frustrating. I hate when that happens. Yeah, it just seems like 3 or 4 times a year they won't come up, because what I do is I use the automatic ones and I edit them so that they're correct. But it definitely helps because, yeah, you don't have to type every single word in yourself. You only have to sort of fix the, 30% that are incorrect. Yeah, that saves a lot of time, but. So yeah, I said I lost a whole bunch of stitching time because I was doing that, but like I often say, accessibility is important to me. I use captions myself, so I would be a big old hypocrite if I didn't care if mine were correct or not, so, or showed up at all, because yeah, the automatic captions don't show up. If you don't put any in, there'll be nothing. Yeah. Okay. Oh, goodness, pardon me. Yeah, speaking of that, because I say I don't have problems with hearing as it comes to like picking up sounds. In fact, I can pick up more than the average person according to the test I had done after my ear infection. But yeah, apparently one of my friends was posting about how they were trying to learn another language and just like nothing seems to work, and then suddenly it dawned on them that maybe their auditory processing lag, which is the same thing I have, was connected to it. And I went, oh, that makes sense. Because they said, yeah, basically, I hear words and I know they're supposed to mean something, but they just don't, which is why I like to have captions on as backup, so that if I didn't catch what someone said with my ears, I can catch it with my eyes, right? And I went, okay, that makes sense. Because she said, yeah, like, a lot of language, spoken language in English, I can't catch, even though I can speak English and I can hear just fine. And so if you're trying to catch it in another language that you don't know, it's much harder. And I'm going, well, I wonder if that is true, because yeah, like we had to take French in school. It was required for years. I had to take it from 6th grade until 11th grade. And I still suck at it. I was curious once and I took one of those online to see what level you're at. and I was still at like B1 or something. I'm like, wow, 6 years and I still can't hold a conversation. Like, yeah. I said I can catch enough reading it or hearing it that I can usually guess the gist of it, but speaking it is hopeless. Yeah. So, yeah, I was trying to learn some Hungarian, but I don't know. I give up. I tried and nothing sticks. I'll even, you know, doing my flashcards, I'll see a word and I'm like, I know this. I know I've known this, gone over it so many times, and yet doesn't stick. And if you don't get it right, it puts it to the bottom. It's not technical, actual physical flashcards. It's an app, but it will put it to the bottom, bring it to the top again, and it'll come to the top again in like groups of 10, and I'll be like, I just saw this a minute ago. I don't know what it is. And I listen to it because it has a play it and nothing. And oh, okay, that's what it is. It goes to the bottom of the stack, comes up again. Same thing. Like, it's just, it will not stick. Drives me mad. I said I'm good at English. I always tested consistently, blah, she says, saying that she can speak English. Now, consistently above my grade level when I was a kid of how much vocabulary I had. But yeah, I don't know. Other languages just doesn't want to compute. And then I said the hard thing too about Hungarian is they have formal form and non-formal. And my husband said even for him the formal is difficult. Like he said, I can decipher it, but it takes long. It's like trying to read like old English, you know, Shakespeare versus modern English. It's English, but parsing out the meaning is harder, right? And he says the same thing because, of course, he hardly ever gets a chance to hear it. He says he'll only get it if like there's instructions on something that's in Hungarian. It'll be formal Hungarian, but yeah. Like he says, obviously, he and his family all speak the informal kind, so yeah. So I was trying to learn, but yeah. I basically got just above beginner, and then I just kind of got stuck there. Oh. Well, they said too, it's one of the hardest second languages to learn because it's an isolate, so it was basically means it developed isolated from other languages, so it doesn't really have what you might call it, similarities with other languages, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, French is supposed to be one of the easier ones to learn if you speak English, and I was hopeless at that. So yeah, I said, I don't know what I was kidding myself. Oh. Like, I guess it would have to be one of those ones where you immerse yourself in it, but even then, I don't know. Yeah, I had a friend who said they went to Quebec and they still had trouble with the English. And she said too, like, again, what they speak in Quebec is like a different dialect than what we were taught in school. We're taught the more formal in school, so yeah. She would get a lot of people thinking she's like being pretentious when it's like, no, that's the way she was taught how to speak it at school. So yeah, my son didn't have to learn any. Yeah, which I was surprised because Canada has 2 official languages, English and French, and that's why it was required for me. But for him, it hasn't been. I guess maybe it depends because I did all my schooling in BC and it's probably still required there. But yeah, here in the prairies, it's not. They have French immersion available, but if you're not in French immersion, you don't learn any French. So yeah, kind of strange. My son considered French immersion for a bit, but I just said, they do your entire instruction in it. And yeah, if you don't already have some French, it'd be really hard. So yeah, they have French immersion available because there was quite a large percentage of French who live in this area. So that's why. Plus, the older you get, the harder it is, too, to learn. Like, yeah, my husband, they came here when he was 5, so, yeah, it's a lot easier to learn when your brain, they said, before age 10 is a lot easier to learn. Your brain is still malleable. Once you get older, it gets more ingrained and it's harder to do. So okay, I'm gonna carry this one down here. Just straighten out this grid line. Yeah, like I said, I like to leave a little slack in my grid lines that I sew on so that I don't distort the fabric, pull the holes, but the one drawback is that at the edges, yeah, that slack can confuse you if you don't watch it. So, oh my gosh, there. Yeah, so like I said, I have one color that kind of goes this way. I'm sort of filling this in. So I'm going to fill some in the corner here, and then I'm going to change direction probably. Yeah. So different flower petals and stuff are forming different shapes. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I don't know, maybe too, it was colder the other day, the last time I was filming, and my furnace was switched on a lot more often, and maybe that also drowned out my voice a bit. I don't know, but yeah, for some reason, every now and then it just doesn't work. And I tried re-uploading a second copy because that's worked one time. For some reason, the original I uploaded, those captions would not process. So I uploaded a second one, the second time it did. So go figure. And I tried that, but yeah, that didn't work either. So I was hoping to avoid doing it manually, but unfortunately, no dice. No such luck. All right, so yeah, 176,000 exactly will be what it takes to finish this pass. And I'm at 175,244. So like I said, under 800 stitches, but more than I can manage in this session, that's for sure. Even in a whole day, that's usually more than I can manage. I usually get about 450 to 500 per day. So yeah, that's like almost twice that amount. So that's unlikely to happen. I've had a couple times that I managed to do like 1,000 in a day, but it was a big area with basically no confetti. And yeah, I ended up paying for it the next day. Yeah, I did that like 2 days in a row, and then I couldn't stitch for like 4 days because my arms were burning. So yeah, I have learned to be happy with what I can do comfortably. It's not worth hurting myself over. So yeah, so we just finished, saw the series finale of the TV show Superman and Lois. It was good. It was a bit different. I won't give any spoilers away, but yeah, it was a fun show. It was Superman and Lois later in life, they have twin boys who are in high school, was how the series started. And yeah, went for 4 seasons. And yeah, we enjoyed it. Not as much as we enjoyed Smallville, but it was still pretty good. Yeah. If you like Superman, then yeah. Yeah, Smallville was definitely our favorite. That was young Superman when he's in high school. So, yeah. Okay. Oops, that's no good. It's cross-stitch, not up and down stitch. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I don't know how I did that one time. I somehow made one that went over 2 squares and then crossed it the other way. I have no idea how I did it. Yeah. That was when I still stitched cross country, so I didn't find it until way later because I was just randomly picking colors and not working like I do methodically here, where I don't leave gaps. So otherwise, yeah, using this method, I would have caught it instantly. So, but yeah, I was saying that I thought getting this pass done before the end of the year was going to be tough, but yeah, only about halfway through the month, and it's definitely going to happen soon. So, woohoo! Oh, water machine. Ghost took a drink. Okay. Yeah, so I'm thinking I'm going to hit 2/3 or 66%, probably in the next pass, so in the next few months, probably by spring, because I've been managing about 3 to 4% per month. So, yeah. Yeah, with these huge projects, you gotta celebrate your milestones along the way. Because, yeah, there was someone who was posting saying that they want to finish a piece, but it's, you know, several 100,000 stitches and they feel burned out. And I said, yeah, you have to celebrate every little accomplishment along the way, every 10,000 stitches, every 5,000 stitches, every 1%, you know. Yeah. Because, yeah, otherwise it takes a very long time to finish. And if you want that dopamine hit sooner, yeah, you've got to find ways to find it in more than just completing the whole project. So, yeah, so I turned my thread ends into Christmas ornaments. Went and got these plastic clear empty ones you can get at the dollar store, and then just, yeah, stuffed those in. And so there's a couple hanging on my tree. One of my friends says, oh, you know, you've actually finished projects, and now you're finishing projects with the, you know, the leftovers from finished projects. Stop showing off. Yeah, completing stuff can sometimes be tough for me, but when it comes to cross stitch, not as much. Although I say that, I did have a project that sat in a hoop in my closet for a decade. So yeah, I often have people say they're worried about hoops or frames and stuff leaving marks that won't come out, and I said I left one in a hoop for 10 years, and I was still able to iron the wrinkles out when the time came. So yeah, I was kind of worried about the same thing, because yeah, it was one of those, I put it in the closet and then I didn't plan to just leave it, but I sort of just didn't pick it up again. I started taking up knitting, and so it just sat there. And yeah, what I was more worried about was that maybe because I didn't use grime guards then and I was using a hoop, so I was holding it in my hand, I was more worried about oils from my hand having stained the fabric and not being able to come out, but thankfully that didn't happen. So yeah, because I did have one project that happened to, but thankfully it was just some little sampler piece I was doing, and it wasn't super precious to me. But yeah, because I had someone say they were surprised that I washed my stitching, and I said, well, yeah, because your hands are, you know, even if you've just washed them, yeah, your hands leave behind oils and sweat and stuff, right? So those can discolor the fabric, especially over time. Sometimes it may not be obvious right away, but then you leave it on the wall, it can, yeah, start to show. So, well, just like you're not supposed to handle old books with your bare hands because same thing, yeah, your skin can damage them. Oh, I said that's one of my pet peeves in movies where people are like, oh, look at this antique thing, and they just handle it with their bare hands, and I'm like, no, you know, put on gloves. Your hands are gonna ruin it, even though I know it's a movie, it's just a prop, it's not actually, you know, a several 100-year-old book or something. But yeah, I can't help it. Yeah, the fastidious person in me is going, no, no, don't handle those with your bare hands. Yeah, like I remember there was a castle in Victoria that's a tourist attraction that you can go see, and it has beautiful like cherry wood and stuff, and there's actually little plaques on it asking you not to touch it because, yeah, the acid and stuff from your hands will eat through it over time, and if everybody who goes through touches it, it's cumulative, right? Like one person doing it probably wouldn't that big a deal, but if it's thousands of people doing it every day, yeah, it's like water eroding a rock, right? Eventually it does build up over time. Okay, so yeah, like I said, there's another color that kind of, a petal that goes this way. I'm sort of going to fill in this stuff, I think, or I might work from the bottom. It's sort of, I decide as I get there. I might work some here and then some here, and then, yeah, like I often say, I make a plan, I don't necessarily stick to it. Oh, I forgot, actually, I was going to cross those two first. Yeah, because I want the thread to end up at the bottom, not back up where I started. So yeah, some people swear by crossing every X as you go. Some people don't, and I do kind of a combination of the two, depending on where I want my thread to end up. I often say that this is kind of like doing a puzzle, so it's good brain exercise. Yeah, I can tell, because if I try to stitch when I'm tired, it just won't happen. Yeah. Well, it's like, my husband said at one of his previous jobs, they had a limit for overtime because they're working with, you know, electrical stuff and that. And yeah, if you work too long, it can get dangerous because once you get past a certain point of tired, yeah, your brain just will not function properly anymore. And he said, yeah, he remembered because he was getting close to that 12-hour cutoff. And he said, I opened up the circuit board and looked at the wires, and he's like, it just looked like a pile of spaghetti to me because my brain just wouldn't compute it anymore. Yeah. Like, he's the guy who can basically fix anything. Yeah. Like, if he can't fix it, it's probably not fixable kind of thing. But yeah, he said, I knew it was time to quit then because, yeah. He's like, I looked at it and it just didn't mean anything anymore. And he said, of course, the next morning when I looked at it, it was fine, but that was after I had some rest, you know. Yeah. And yeah, I used to work for the same place, but I did paperwork and stuff. So yeah, they made us do, we still had to do all the same safety training. But yeah, I remember our instructor kind of saying, well, for us, the worst thing that might happen is we fall asleep on our keyboard, you know, bonk our head on the desk. But yeah, for a lot of these technicians in the field, like, yes, it's an actual, could cause loss of life or limb if they don't quit when they need to. So yeah, we had to do OSHA and WMIS training to work for the company, whether you were going to work with hazardous materials or not. Yeah. But they say, yeah, I mean, you can't count on things being obvious. You know, there's always someone who's going to be oblivious. Like they said, you know, people were kind of laughing because it was like they're being told, you know, don't store pressurized cylinders of stuff, you know, near heat sources. People are like, well, duh, that's obvious. I'm like, yeah, but they have to say that because at one point it wasn't obvious to someone and they did, and with disastrous results, right? Yeah. Every regulation you can think of is there because at one point they didn't have it, and yeah, somebody got hurt. So okay, yeah, so now looking at it, yeah, I was gonna fill all this in, but now looking at it, I think I may actually work on this shape first and then fill in above it. Kind of a combination of it, we'll see. But yeah, now that I'm actually working it, I think that's what I might do. It really doesn't matter. I could just leave this one here and work all the way around it and then fill it in. Either one would work with this method. So, yeah. I sometimes have people ask, why did you choose to do it this way instead of that way? And it's like, sometimes it's just because I had to choose one. And so that's the one I chose, you know, not because there was any special reasoning for it. I had to pick one. Didn't want to get stuck in indecision. Yeah. Anxiety, where you get so stuck you can't make a decision at all. It actually was interesting. I was remembering I watched House, and there was an episode where the lady lost her ability to make a decision because she couldn't like feel her emotions or something. Yeah, which I thought was kind of interesting because you would think, oh, without emotions involved, you could make a rational decision, but I guess apparently our brains are not wired that way. Yeah. Oh, in fact, that reminds me, there is a new show out called The Irrational. I think it's in its second season now, which I'm quite enjoying, which is about a professor who solves cases and talks about the ways we act, that humans act irrationally, but in predictable, irrational ways. So, yeah, I've been enjoying that one. Yeah. Like basically humans can be counted on to act irrationally, and we can actually predict how they will. Yeah, so one here, another one here, and then, yeah, we'll be reaching the edge. So getting close to filling this in. That's always exciting. Yeah, or I may sort of work this way along kind of both of these petal shapes at the same time. Like I said, I will decide as I stitch. Okay. Oh, I almost put that in the wrong place, yeah. That's why I was just double checking with my grid lines before I got going. Although, this is one of those, if I'd put one stitch in the wrong place, the color is so similar, I might have been able to get away with it. So, yeah, we will see. Fortunately, I caught myself before I actually made the mistake. Okay. Yeah, so for a while the colors were curving this way, now they're curving the other way, so that generally means I will change direction with them. Okay, so again, I could park in one of two places. I'm just going to pick the one that's slightly closer, park it up here, but I could have chosen to park it down here where the other colors are, and that would have been fine too. Yeah, or a lot of times where I decide to park will depend how long the thread still is. So if there's two places to pick and one of them has only 3 or 4 stitches and one has, 20, and the piece of thread is long, I'll park it where the 20 are. If it's short, then I park it where the 3 or 4 are. So that also will often be the deciding factor. But yeah, sometimes I just have to pick one, and really doesn't make that much of a difference, so I just pick one. Yeah, so I think I'm all done the water on this piece. So look at my little printed out mock-up here. Yeah, I print them out and I drew lines for each passes so I know what is in each pass. Yeah, the next bit for the next pass is going to be quite detailed. There's a whole bunch of leaves and then the smaller feathers on the peahen on her wings, so that's going to go a little slower. Yeah. Okay. Super short bit, but I think I can still get that one stitch there on the edge, so I will do that. My goodness. There. Double taps didn't want to register there. Yeah, I'm going to get a full-length piece here. Ooh, goodness, pardon me. Ugh. Yeah, we'll see if I can end on a round number. The last couple of months I managed to, which was nice because makes it easy to count. So it was like 159,000 exactly, and then this month started at 171,000 exactly. So yeah, that makes the counting really easy to know how many I've done in a month. Okay, so again, colors branch off in different directions. I will use different threads for them. kind of went between the strands there. Just made that existing stitch look a little funny. So again, that's probably just me being fastidious, and maybe no one else would have noticed, but oh well. I like to keep it neat when I can. I was worried that thread was in danger of shredding, but it was all good. Yeah, it's the worst. I hate when I go to pull it through the eye of the needle and it split the thread in two, and then the more you pull it, the more it splits. Oh. It doesn't happen that often, but when it does, it's very annoying. Oh, I did fill in these browns. I just forgot to mark that I had filled them in for some reason. Yeah, okay, there we go. And that means I will do these as well. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, this was a bit confetti heavy, so it took me a while to reach 100. But we have. Woohoo! Yeah, so I say I'm stitching this color out, but it kind of stripes within that shape too, so I kind of stitch in both directions. Okay. Yeah, so still working on my holiday preparations. I got to do some more baking. I got to wrap gifts too. Yeah, I was surprised. They used to have this thing was like a little wristband with a little pop-up tape holder. They were cut into little like 1-inch pieces, almost like sticky notes, and you'd pull one up individually, and they don't sell it anymore. Yeah. They had it in like the 90s, early 2000s, but I haven't seen it in years. Yeah. Kind of missed it because it was nice if you don't remember to pre-cut the tape, right? You get everything and it's like, oh, I need the tape and I need 2 hands to pull the piece of tape, right? Unless you have like a desktop roll, which I didn't. And yeah, I really like that because you could hold it and then pop it out and apply it. But yeah, they don't make those anymore. At least not that I've seen. So. It's funny because like I've mentioned in previous videos, my husband and I just have a budget and we buy what we want ourselves. And my husband's always like, wrap it and put it on the tree. I'm like, but I already know what it is. That just seems like a waste of wrapping paper. Oh, so I think it was like last year, maybe the year before, I got my crafting lamp. And of course, I used it right away. I didn't wait till Christmas. And then my husband was like, you should put it on the tree. I'm like, I'm not taking it down, disassembling it, and sticking it back in the box and putting it under the tree. That's silly. So I just took the box, I stuck a bow on it, stuck it under the tree, and said, good enough. Yeah. It's not like I'm taking a picture for Instagram or anything like that. So, yeah, I really don't care. Okay, so let's get another strand for the bottom here. So yeah, the one strand that's parked here will curve that way. Another strand for the bottom I will start right now. Yeah, I was saying about people needing to find milestones to celebrate because, yeah, it takes so long to finish. Yeah, well, I guess that's why a lot of people like to start lots of projects because, yeah, that definitely gives you the happy, right, to start a new project. But, yeah. I find, though, the problem is switching between projects is a bit cumbersome for me because I use the floor stand and wrestling it in and out of the frame and the frame in and out of the holder, and yeah. I also use different floss tray, working trays for different projects, and yeah. And if projects share colors, I have to switch colors over, and yeah, so I just find swapping projects is a bit of an ordeal, so that's another big reason why I only stick to a few. I really like to have them done. And I'm just lazy to make the switch. Okay, I'm going to do those and then park that. Yeah, I've actually considered maybe buying myself a second stand. I could just leave a project in it and just swap the stand out. Because I have more than one Q-snap frame, so yeah, I just haven't done it yet. But then, of course, if I have more than one floor stand, that does take up more floor space, so there's that. Yeah. Yeah, because that was one thing we did when we finished renovating. We got some new end tables and stuff in the living room, and my husband purposely got one that has drawers in it so I can fit my craft supplies in there, so they're tucked away, which is nice. Let's same. Even though our TV's mounted to the wall, we got an entertainment stand so that I can use the cupboard and drawers in there to store my craft supplies. And now I don't have to wander all the way downstairs to where I used to have them stored. They're right here, but they're also packed away so the room looks a little neater, which is nice. Yeah, that was a bit of a ordeal, but very glad it's done now. We kept saying we were going to do it, and, you know, we've been in this house since before our son was born, so yeah, we finally got it done. Yeah. I just felt bad because my husband did most of the work because I wasn't good at it. I tried to help with the painting, but I couldn't seem to blend it with the roller without getting lines in it. I tried, but I don't know. He's better at it than me, so I painted trim. Yeah, I painted baseboards and that kind of stuff, so. But yeah, it was quite the thing. Our son had to sleep in the living room, and we had all the stuff there out of the rooms because we were putting in carpet, and yeah. It was sort of one of those why we kept putting it off, because all the time, even just thinking about having to move everything was like, oh, I'm tired just thinking about it. But yeah, we finally got it done, so we're happy. Again, I'm going to have a different one to curve across the top. This one is going to work on the stuff across the bottom. So I did end up working this shape down below here. And then I'll come up and fill in the next sort of blob there. Yeah, so I've talked about the snowshoe hare who comes to our yard. He hadn't been here in a while, but yeah, he showed up the other day. Well, I saw his footprints across the snow, and then it turned out he was hiding right by my front door because a delivery came, and they came to my back door, but I ended up checking the front door, and I opened the door. He took off. Yeah, I scared him. The funny thing is, if he hadn't run off, I might not even have noticed him because he's white sitting in the white snow. Yeah. But yeah, they're prey animals, so they get pretty nervous. But yeah, same thing. It's funny. In the summer, we have our drain pipe goes down to a like a tunnel underground that then comes out at the bottom to go into the storm drain, and there's sort of an indentation in the grass where it is, and he likes to hide in there. And it's funny because people will be walking by, and when they get close, he takes off, and I'm like, if he just stayed like snuggled into his little, you know, alcove there. They probably wouldn't even have noticed because at that time then he's brown. Yeah, and can really hide among the grass and stuff effectively. But yeah, it's kind of funny because he'll sit there. It's in the sun, so he gets all sleepy and his ears go back, and then every now and then you'll see him sort of lift up his head and look around a little bit and then hunker down again. That's pretty cute. But yeah, lately the snow's been coming later, so he turns white and the environment hasn't. Because yeah, he's brown in the summer and white in the winter. Well, they said that's the difference. They said hares change color, rabbits don't, because the hares nest above ground. And the rabbits tend to be in burrows, so they're hidden, so they don't have to change color in order to camouflage themselves. So yeah. So yeah, like I said, I don't know for sure, but I suspect he is a snowshoe hare because he's got the great big back paws. So, and because he changes colors, so. And he's big too. The hares tend to be bigger than the rabbits, so yeah. Okay. Okay, let's put that there. Okay, I'm going to take a look at these. Yeah. Okay, what I'm actually going to do, because that's a fairly long piece, I could probably do all the stitches with it. I'm going to do these first. Yeah, can you guess what I'm going to do? Do these first. So, yeah, with my method, I always try, like I say, to have any stitches I do be connected on at least one side and not close anything in. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to travel that downwards and back up a bit. This way I didn't have to add extra threads. There, and then park that there. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna again kind of do this bulge out here and then kind of work around it and fill in. Oh, this was already out. Don't know why I thought it wasn't. this hour has flown by. Yeah, it's just about. Been stitching for an hour. Oh, yeah. And there's popping up. There we go. Yeah, I find if I don't push those back down right away, they can be harder to remove later. They can end up sewn through, and then, yeah, trying to budge them is a big pain, so. Speaking of which, there's another small one right there. There we go. Yeah, so this way I didn't have to add extra threads of this color. I don't mind doing that, but I won't if I don't have to. This one I will need to add another strand because the one I'm using right now is just about done. Actually, I'm going to do that one first. Yeah, I think that's about it out of this thread. Okay. Well, I'm close to 200 again, so maybe I will just stitch to 200. Oops. If I could get this thread to cooperate with me, of course. So yeah, I don't have the discipline to stitch row by row, but I still like to kind of stitch without leaving gaps too, so it's kind of a chaotic kind of order. It's like when people say, I know it's a mess, but I know where everything is. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Like I'll joke when my husband hangs my keys up on the key rack and I'm like, couldn't find my keys. Oh, that's because you put them where they belonged, right? I usually keep them on the counter by the door. Yeah. Well, the thing is, because otherwise I used to leave them in the door, so sort of, yeah. And if I carry them around the house, I'm going to probably put them down in a place that I won't be able to find them anymore. So yeah, it sort of became my habit to open the door, put them on the counter right by the door, and then I know it's there. So. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so I will stitch to just past 200, and then that is going to be where I take a break today. So yeah, the next time I make one of these sessions, I will probably have completed this pass and be starting the next one. I might not, but I'm guessing that's probably what I'm going to be doing. So yeah, that's always exciting. Yeah, those are my big milestones. Each pass is just over 30,000 stitches. So yeah. Definitely something that I feel is worth celebrating as a mini accomplishment. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you here next time. Thanks everybody. Bye.